Hey, all you people, you might think that because this is our 15th episode, we would know how to master audio correctly and do things right the first time, but it's not exactly the case. So for this episode, our special present for you on what is my birthday coming out on the 29th. Yes, congratulations to me. My birthday gift from me to you on my birthday is that the audio at the beginning of this episode towards the middle is a little bit blown out, usually mostly on Ben's mic. I don't know. It seems to get better towards the end, but it's, what is this show if not an experiment in failing audio quality? So that said, enjoy our conversation about The Devil All the Time, starring Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland and Bill Skarsgård and Jason Clarke and Sebastian Stan. And also,
this is the show that we're doing, and it's really, really good. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
It's a show.
Hey, everybody, it's Marshall from Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast, and who is that across the room?
What the? There's someone over here? Who's
Ben.
over here?
It's Ben.
Where are
It's
you?
Ben. No, it's Ben. Ben?
Oh, okay.
Ben,
yeah. What's up?
Welcome to the podcast of Ben and Marshall Do a Podcast. It's the official podcast of the YouTube channel we don't do anything with.
Oh, nice.
And I am here to tell you that today, on this special day, this one day, I think it's the 19th today.
Yeah, it should be somewhere close to that. It is, in fact, the 19th.
Yes.
I've checked with my sources, and they have confirmed that is, in fact, the 19th.
Well, let me tell you, man, it is Batman Day. So congratulations.
To Batman.
Happy Batman Day, Batman. Congratulations on your day.
Congratulations to all the new Batmans out there.
And to celebrate Batman Day, I have a special new segment.
Okay.
Called Can You Pass the Hardest Batman Trivia Game Ever?
Yes.
For Ben. Now,
absolutely.
I'm sure that I could get all of these.
Uh-huh.
Because I am, a true Batman fan. It says, come on, don't be
That's
scared
what
to
they all
test
say.
your Dark Knight knowledge.
Oh, I know all of my Dark Knight knowledge.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you these questions, and they're multiple choice, but do you want me to give you the multiple choice, or do you want to try to guess first, and then I'll give you the multiple choice if you don't know?
Definitely the multiple choice. I have no clue.
All right, coward, here we go. Question number 1 of the hardest Batman quiz game ever. When was the first Batman movie released? 1968.
Is that the only option?
No. 1968, 1966, or 1943.
My original guess would have been 1969, and I think the closest to that would be 1968.
But
So
okay.
I'm going to go with 1968, final answer. A.
I'm sorry, Ben. It is 1943.
Oh.
There were a series of Batman serial dramas. You can see the photo here.
They use cereal?
They did. I think these were actually on Amazon
Which
Prime
one? Like
Video.
Fruit Loops or like Cheerios?
I think it would have been Cheerios back then.
Oh, okay.
That
Gotcha.
or Wheaties.
Wheaties give you wings.
Question number 2.
That's the
what
saying.
is the Penguin's real name?
Kowalski.
Ooh. Well, yeah. I should probably give you the options, right?
That would be good.
Oswald Cobblepot, Alfred Pennyworth, or Benjamin Hammer.
Let's go with Cobblepot.
That is correct.
Ding, ding, ding,
You
I'm
got
the best.
one.
I know everything about Batman, and I am so good.
You got a 50% success ratio at this point.
Heck yeah. It's almost like the odds are 1 and 2 at this
It's
point.
crazy. Number 3. Who writes? Oh, well, this is. I think I know the answer to this one, but I don't know when this quiz came out.
Right.
Who writes the current Batman comic issues? Jeff Johns, Brian Azzarello, or Scott Snyder?
Well, Zack Snyder did the Snyder cut, so
Zack
I'm gonna
Snyder.
go with the Snyder guy.
Okay, Scott Snyder. You're right.
Dude, my logic is infallible.
Yeah.
I'm so good at this.
It's actually currently James Tynion IV. It was Scott Snyder like 4 years ago.
right, but that was the right answer for me. So
More than 4 years ago, probably.
I got that one correct. Ding, 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 ding. Give me points.
I only figured that out because those other two guys haven't written the main Batman series in a very long time.
Someone should edit in like little ding sounds when I get them right and
Oh,
celebration sounds.
someone
I'm so
should do
good.
that. Who voiced Batman in 7 different cartoon series? Timothy Daly, Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy.
I'm gonna go with in 7. You said
In 7, yeah.
In 7 different okay. Well, 7 times 2 is 14.
Yeah.
And 14 days are what would be in a fortnight. And Fortnite is the most popular, was the most popular battle royale game.
Yes.
Fortnite, you build in. So B is to build, and that would be my answer. The B.
Mark Hamill.
No, wait, no, not Mark Hamill. That's C is to build. So that one.
Okay. You're right. It's Kevin Conroy.
Dude, I'm so good. What can I say? I'm just so good at this.
Maybe the best, in fact. All right, episode 5.
What?
Question number 5. Who got shot during the Killing Joke storyline? Was it Robin, Barbara Gordon, or Alfred?
Wait, the Killing Who storyline?
The Killing Joke.
Probably. What were the options again?
Was it Robin, Barbara Gordon, or Alfred?
Probably Robin. Let's go with Robin. He seems like he would get shot.
I'm sorry, Ben.
I didn't use my infallible logic this time.
You did not, and unfortunately, while the Joker did murder a Robin, it was not in this story. It was, in fact, Barbara Gordon that was shot in the Killing Joke storyline. Number 6.
That's not very nice.
Which of the following exclamations was not used in the 1966 TV show? Holly Olio. Holly Olio? Holly Olio!
Holy yellow.
It's not even Holy, though. It's Holly. There's 2 L's. Holly Olio! Holy Holly Popsicle! Or Holy Chutzpah!
Which one was not used, or which one was used?
Which of the following exclamations was not used on the 1966-68 TV show?
I'm gonna go with the first one. Somebody made that one up.
I'm sorry, Ben. It was Holy Holly Popsicle.
Oh. Well, someone made that one up too.
You're not doing too hot so far.
I'm pretty hot, so
That's
think
true.
You're wrong.
But I think if you really try, you can really do it. But I'm not extremely confident.
I don't really have much confidence in myself either.
We're more than halfway there. Question number 7. Which of these bad guys never fought Batman? Is it Clayface, Killer Croc, Tigra, or Zaz?
Probably Clayface.
Unfortunately, Ben, it is in fact Tigra. Clayface is one of Batman's main villains. One of the most popular, in fact, and features in multiple episodes of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh man, I should know that because I have.
You're a
watched
rabid fan.
The Batman.
Well, because you're a huge Batman fan on Batman Day, and you're the biggest Batman fan there is, so you should get the hardest Batman game quiz.
That's true.
Where did Harley Quinn meet the Joker? Gotham General, Arkham Asylum, or Gotham Police Station?
Arkham Asylum.
That is correct, Ben Weber.
I knew that one. I'm good.
I'm proud of you. What was the Huntress's original last name? They give interesting. Helena Bertolini or Helena Wayne?
Let's go with Bertolini.
That is correct. Oh, what? What? It was Wayne?
Wow.
That's not true.
That's impossible.
That's specifically not correct.
Oh, well, I am correct.
Yeah, that's weird. Unless there's something I don't know, which would be strange. Okay, whatever. I guess we'll count that one as correct. We'll add 1 more point to our score at the end.
Ding, 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 ding.
What was Barbara Gordon's nickname after she got shot by the Joker? Was it Oracle, the Watcher, or B? Just the letter B.
The Oracle.
That is correct.
I'm good at this, dude. Get me on America's Got Talent.
Oh, that's the plan, dude. Question 11. After leaving his place by Batman's side, Dick Grayson took the name Night Moon, Nightwing, Deadly Night.
Nightwing.
You're right. You got that one.
I played the Batman game.
Number 12. Who broke Batman's back? The Joker, Killer Croc, or Bane?
When his mother stepped on a crack, it was Bane.
Okay. When his mother stepped on his crack, it was Bane.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Was that the correct one?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
No, I mean with the mother's thing, that is, it has to be. It's mutually exclusive. What?
Oh, here's a question for you. What is the date of Bruce's birthday? Bruce Wayne, I assume. Is it March 1st, February 19th, May 20th, or it was never revealed?
May 20th.
Is that 420?
Yeah. You know I got to answer that.
That's great. It's February 19th.
I don't mind that. That was what my gut was saying, but
Yeah.
my heart said 420.
I did not know that.
Oh.
Editorial note, 420 is actually April 20th. Ben, how do I know this? And you don't. All right, back to the show.
Oh, dude, yeet.
Yeah.
How lit is that?
Not very.
Yeah, good point. Number 14. Did Rachel Dawes exist in the comic book?
No.
That is correct.
Rachel.
Rachel. Where
Why are they
is
all
she?
named Rachel?
Are they all named Rachel?
I guess. I mean, the mom's named Rachel then?
No, her name's Martha.
Oh, I don't know why. I think I was just thinking of Batman going, Rachel.
Yeah. Are you thinking of that because she's recast in the second one? So were you thinking that it's two different women, but it's the same woman?
No, I don't think so.
Whatever. Who was working with Batman since his debut? Robin, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon.
Alfred?
Yeah, obviously. What? Commissioner Gordon? This doesn't make any... That doesn't make any sense.
No, that does not make a lot of sense at
Because
all.
he was the enemy of the police at first. Well, actually, you know what? And if they're talking about literally... Because they've got a picture of his first appearance.
Right.
If they're talking about that specific comic book issue... He does work with Commissioner Gordon in that before the character actually gets fleshed out and everything. But I think Alfred's in that one too.
Strange.
So it's kind of a weird trick question.
Alfred.
Yeah. Number 16. Which Robin was killed by the Joker? Was it Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, or Damian Wayne?
Dick Grayson.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben. It was Jason Todd.
Oh.
Brutally
That
murdered
sounds
and
like
blown up.
a 40-year-old accountant who lives in a middle upper class neighborhood.
That's a good point. Well, he's actually kind of the opposite. He became Robin because Batman caught him trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile. And he said, you're going to be my new sidekick.
Yeah, he demonstrated a good talent for
took initiative.
taking things and getting caught while doing it.
Yeah.
So
perfect thing for a Batman man
that's how
to
it
do.
would apply to be any sidekick.
Yeah, and then he came back to life and started murdering criminals as the Red Hood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Here's a good question for you. Who killed Bruce Wayne's parents? If you gotta solve the mystery. Was it Jack O'Connor? Oh no, that's a whole issue right there. We know where Ben stands now. Jack O'Connor, the Joker, or Joe Chill?
I want to say Joe Chill, but I mean,
Ben, you are right. It is Joe Chill.
Joe Chill, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Kill my parents.
Question 18. We're almost to the end, Ben. Will you win the hardest Batman game quiz of all time?
Yeah.
What was Dick Grayson's profession before he became Robin? Was he martial arts instructor,
A thief?
baseball player, or circus acrobat?
Circus acrobat seems like where his lot in life.
Ben, can I tell you something?
Probably.
You're right.
Boom! I'm so good, dude. I'm the best. No one is on my level. What can I say?
We got 2 more questions. Are you ready?
Possibly.
Which villain developed a powerful formula capable of turning men into hulking beasts?
What?
I'm not entirely sure. Is it Bane, Hugo Strange, or the Joker?
I'm gonna go with Bane.
I think it's the Joker. It's Hugo Strange.
Well,
Well, I don't... This is weird. Never mind.
it's
Whatever.
Doctor Strange.
No, it's not.
Yes,
oh,
it is.
Ben,
I
this
read
is
the
the
book.
best question. This is the best question. Are you ready?
No.
What is the name of Mr. Freeze's wife? Emily, Nora, or Laura?
Emma, Nora, or Laura? Emma, Nora, and Laura. Next on Disney Channel.
Next on 92.27, the
kid.
Freeze.
Baja Blast, the Freeze.
So, what is the name? This is the ultimate question. If you get this one, you win the whole thing.
The ultimate question.
Yeah.
Dun, dun. It's the $100,000 question. What is it?
Is it Emily, Nora, or Laura?
You know, my only reason for saying Nora, which is my answer, is that I was shooting a music video a few years ago, and one of the extras was named Nora. So that's my entire thought process.
Ben, you're correct.
Dude, I'm so good at this freaking game. I am the best. What can I say? I win, and I am always number one.
You did, in fact, get more than 50% correct, which means that you won.
Wow, that
By
is-
more than 50%, I mean you got
That's the
11 out of
story-
20.
That's the story of my high school and college career.
Well, I, for one, am very proud of you.
Thank you
I think you did very well.
for having never watched Batman. Not even knowing who his name is.
Who is his name, though? Did you ever wonder that?
Not even knowing what his favorite color is. I got all of those questions right.
I think it's black.
No, I don't know.
But what about that time in the movie when he was driving the big car and he turns to Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman, and says, "Does it come in black?"
Well, maybe he just didn't want to be seen.
But it was already camouflage. It was painted camo.
Right, but that's...
So it was a lot harder to see it before it was painted black.
Well, I feel like camo in an urban environment doesn't make much sense.
I don't know what you're talking about. If you paint something camouflage, it was a hard scene for them to shoot because it was painted camouflage, so the camera couldn't even see the tumbler.
Yeah. That was a good segment.
Thank you. I feel like you did very well, and I'm very proud of you. But Ben, do you know what time it is now?
No, I don't actually.
It's time for the news, and there's a lot of news.
Oh boy. Well, let's speed round it.
All right, number 1 news: Harley Quinn season 3 confirmed, HBO Max. Let's go! Very cool. It took a really weirdly long time for this to get greenlit. Like, the creator was very public on Twitter about like, "Yep, I'd love to do it, but I really kind of know nothing at this point. They haven't talked to me."
Right.
And then we had finally announced like, "Okay, yes, they're doing it."
They're doing the thing.
Which is great. I'm super excited about it. It was a good show. I enjoyed it.
They're making it 2.
They already did that.
Oh, they did it.
Yeah, and one of the guys from that movie is in the movie we watched today.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
Yes.
Titans is going to be season 3 exclusive on HBO Max. I have not watched Titans. Have you seen Titans?
I remember them.
Ooh, tell me their names.
The guy who got hit by a car. The right side, strong side.
It's left side. And Nightwing and Beast Boy and Starfire and all of those, your favorites. But so that's pretty cool. Basically, all the DC Universe shows are moving over to HBO Max, and that's what that is. WandaVision, our next Marvel thing, supposedly coming by the end of the year, which is weird.
More like Wonder Vision.
Yeah.
Wonder what it is.
I don't know. I'm confused about how this is happening because Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out last month originally before, the pandemic stopped everything from happening.
Right.
And they're actually just starting filming again recently. Set photos started coming out. So they're going again. And I don't understand. I guess WandaVision maybe is just on a bunch of sets, so they were able to just keep going as opposed to this having to be on location and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's weird. I don't think this one was supposed to originally come out this year, but now it's ahead of schedule, the one that was supposed to. Whatever, I'll take it. It's been literally more than a year since there's been any Marvel content released, which is kind of crazy in the grand scheme of things. And in other Marvel Disney Plus news, Tatiana Maslany has been announced as She-Hulk. And that's pretty much all I got about that. That's all we really know. She was in some stuff that I've seen. She's in the Perry Mason series on HBO, which is pretty good. She's really good in it.
Nice.
She's, I think, the main person in Orphan Black, which I never watched, but I think it's supposed to be really good.
Love it.
And that's what that is. Next news, Batman is back, baby! Batman's back, baby.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Where was he? Where'd he go?
He was probably in quarantine because Robert Pattinson, Robot Bat, as he is known, he got the Corvid and had to stop doing the movie for a little bit, but he is back. There's been photos of him out and about. So Batman is filming again. Hopefully we'll still get this movie in 2021. Because I really don't want to wait any longer for it because it looks great. It looks like a good time. Bless you.
Well, glad that he doesn't have any sickness anymore.
Yeah, that would be not great.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that I had the Carvid when I got back from New York last year in October.
Yeah?
Yeah. All the skimptoms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There you go. That's my horror story.
Yeah. I feel like most people have convinced themselves to some degree that they had COVID at some point.
Right. But, I tend to do pretty well with fevers, and that fever knocked me out for 5 or 6 days, and it was the weird breathing, and then also just your entire body hurting in weird ways.
It's just the smog of New York, man. You were getting readjusted. It was leaving your body.
All these clear airs in Nebraska. The open plains.
The open breeze.
The short buildings.
The short buildings.
Big boy cattle.
Big boy cattle. and little girl cattle. Both of them. Final piece of news, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X have both gotten their big news drops. We now know the prices of both of them and the release dates. I think they're both coming out in November. I know the PS5 is. I can't remember. I hardly know her. But I don't remember when the Series X is supposed to be coming out. But the Series X is going to be, the hardware-based one is going to be $500. And the disc-based one is going to be $300, as opposed to the PS5, which the hardware one is going to be $500.
Wait, what? The $300 one does not have a disc thing, though, I don't think.
Yeah. Did I say disc-based? I meant all digital.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so when I said hardware, I was talking about the disc one.
I was confused.
Yeah, so hardware one, Xbox, is going to be $500. All digital is $300. PS5 hardware is $500 as well, and their all digital console is $400. So Microsoft has a little bit of a leg up in the money area, but again, Sony continually has all the best exclusive titles, especially with all of Xbox stuff being on PC as well. So what are you going to do?
Right.
Buy a PS5. That's what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much the news, unless you have some kind of special news segment.
I don't think so.
You don't have any kind of special news segment or anything?
Not really. It's not like I have ever had one before.
You never do? You don't have any kind of...
I mean, I don't know. Let me think. Is there any... No YouTube drama? TikTok apparently is getting banned. So here's what that's going to look like, I guess. I think today, maybe not, I could be wrong, you can't download it from the App Store anymore. You can still have it on your phone.
Really?
But yeah, it'll be like Vine. It'll just die out. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see.
How are you going to live without Charlie and her cool dances?
Dude, I don't know. I really don't. I mean... TikTok's pretty great.
It's like you've lost your best friend.
That's true. Well, I mean, you've lost your best friend. You're the one who likes Charlie so much. That's why I send you all those Snapchats.
I just love Charlie D'Amello.
You're like, thank you for sending me that picture of Charlie D'Amello.
I say thank you so much. I've not seen this. This is news to me. I am glad that you have shown this to me on this
Charlie
day.
Drink yet?
Is that a thing? Is that a Starbucks thing or something?
No, it's a Dunkin' Donuts thing.
Of course it is.
What about
Starbucks
the Krabby
is
Patty?
Not cool anymore. Is that what they're calling that?
I mean, it's one thing to call it.
I have not gotten either of those.
Travis Scott Burger, go sicko mode on the ketchup.
Ew. I hate it. I hate it so much. I just don't like McDonald's food very much.
What?
Well, I like, Chicken McNuggets.
I love all of McDonald's food. It all tastes the same.
Egg McMuffin?
Yeah, it really all tastes the same. It's all just matter.
Egg McMuffin tastes like a Big Mac.
Everything tastes like McDonald's smells.
Interesting. But I was asking if you had any special news.
Do I have special news that I'm not thinking of?
Special news.
I mean, I don't know what special news I would have.
Special news that you do.
What are you talking about?
It's your special news. Ben's special news.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't know we were done with the actual regular news segment, man. You got it.
What are you talking about? This is Ben's special news.
So is the news segment over?
It's apartment news.
No, I know, but is the news segment over?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Oh, okay, we're on to apartment news now. Play that intro.
Play the intro.
Apartment news. Your number one source for news about Ben and Marshall's apartment. And now your host, live on Linux, Benjamin Earl Weber.
Wow, that's me. It's your boy, Benjamin Earl Weber. Thank you for the
Jonathan.
Warm introduction, Fiverr guy.
Love you, Jonathan.
Thank you for coming into the studio today, doing that real quick. We'll hear from you in a second, but on apartment news, let's see, what's new? Well, let's talk about what we're wearing on our heads right now. We recently invested in some headphones. Let's see, the Samson SR850s. These bad boys, they sound pretty dang good. They got some good build quality, and they're pretty cheap. So if you're in the market for some studio reference headphones, I would highly suggest this. Other than that, what else? You could talk about your recent eBay experience.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Did I tell you all about that?
Not 100%.
So, oh boy, the new graphics cards got announced by NVIDIA. They're all big and powerful and cool. Maybe not like exactly as powerful as they boasted, but still like a huge step up from all the reviews. like the impressions of all the reviews. I mean,
Correct.
and so they're really cool. And I was going to do my best to get one on launch day. Unfortunately, a million bots bought every single one, and they're all listed for $5,000 on eBay now, even though they're
Did you see that people
$800.
are trolling and listing them for like confirmed pre-order delivery for like $50,000, like $10,000?
My gosh.
No,
It's
they're
just-
trolling. They're just trying to get people to bid on it.
Yeah.
Some Dumbo Brian.
It's so ridiculous, and all the reviews on all the websites are like 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, because every retailer just got destroyed by bots.
Yep.
Like no real person has one of these cards
told you.
unless a YouTuber got it sent to him. Yeah, and I semi-expected this to happen, but it's not like I'm not going to try.
Right.
You know,
No, it's just like buying shoes. You have no chance.
shoes, or is that how sneakers go, or something?
I'll bet you. I would bet you a few dollars that
Yeah.
the software that was used to buy that was probably developed for shoes.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I don't know what the shoes were called, but there was recently a drop that the same thing kind of happened the other day. It was some Jordans or something, but yeah, you get bots for buying shoes. You buy, because like it's all about numbers with shoes, because you can make money with them, but you can't scale it. It's just a matter of how much product you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of hustle.
Yeah, so I tried to get one of these things and whatever. So I sold my graphics card, my 2080 Ti, to get this thing.
Right.
And at first I had sold it to a dude for however much, half the value of it pretty
Right.
much, but enough to pay for the new one. For the most part, I would basically be paying tax is what we left over. But I had sold it to a dude and then got no response, and he didn't pay me. And I was waiting. It got to like a week, and I was like, I'm done with this dude. I'm canceling, because I'd sent him multiple messages, never got anything back. So I canceled on him, posted it again, and in less than 24 hours got a buyer and sold it for a little more, actually.
Woo!
And that was all fine and well. And I go out to mail it, and he's like pretty like on top of things. He's messaging me, trying to keep track of where we're at in the process here. And I've mailed it. I've shipped it out. The dude asked me for a tracking number. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Tracking. Yeah, of course I have that. And I give him the tracking number, and he messages me back and he's like, it says it's going to Miami, Florida. I was like, yeah, that's the address. That's the address.
Wait, what?
Yes, you don't know about this. I was like, yeah, is that not the address? And it's like, well, he's in New York.
What?
It's like, what? Huh? What? And I'm in Target,
Right.
like going to buy like the Tide Pods that are behind you, a tasty treat.
How many Tide Pods do you use? I bought like that one thing a while back, and you've gotten like 4 or 5 new ones.
Well,
since
the
then.
one that we have in there is like getting low, so I got one.
Oh dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's been a long time.
That is
since
apartment
we
news
got
right
more.
there.
Yeah, I got Tide Pods because we're almost out. Generally, it's getting close enough that I figured may as well. It's $10, $11. I don't know. That was pretty good. But I immediately called FedEx. What I did is I called my mom, because she has like a USPS whatever account, so she could
Right.
just print a label. So technically it was all under her name at this point.
Right.
So I was like, Mom, I need you to call the people
Right.
and like tell them to redirect this thing. This is, I'm trying to get a hold of this dude so he can send me the right address.
Mm-hmm.
And for a dude who seemingly knows that this is going to the wrong side of the East Coast, he took a while to answer to confirm his address, which was listed in the right place.
Right.
So we got it all figured out and everything, and it got redirected. Finally, after a million calls with FedEx. If it was USPS, we would have been screwed, or UPS would have been. They can't, like, they're awful, but FedEx can work wonders, and they did get it turned around. And it took a while, but they did it, and that's all fine and all good. So what happened is, in the process of messaging this dude, of like, well, this is, let me answer your question about it, and this is what I have to say about that, and whatever. And it had already sold to this guy.
Right.
Another guy messaged me somehow about the product,
Right.
about the graphics card, and said, oh, can I change my address that I want it to be sent to? Because it's not the one that's listed on his page or something. I don't know.
Right.
I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't realize that it wasn't the same guy.
Right.
Because it was just like the next message that I'd gotten, and it already sold.
Strange.
So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Just what is it? And he sends me what it is, and I'm like, cool. And that is the address that I put down.
Strange.
You know, completely different name, but it's
Right.
not. It doesn't show the guy's name. It shows his screen name. So it didn't occur to me that, you know, our Crizzle or whatever it is not this dude from Miami, Florida.
Right.
And then I just kept talking to this other dude.
Yeah.
So-
You guys friends now?
Yeah, we're best pals.
Nice. Mm-hmm. He can game on your 2080 Ti in New York.
It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, that's what happened with that.
Love it.
Yeah, I got my cast off. I just have an arm now.
Cast iron.
It's a little bit Frankenstein-y.
Nice.
I'm excited for the scarring to, you know, kind of chill out a little bit over time. Specifically, like, I'm sure that like the main scar isn't gonna like get super better,
Right.
But like where all the staples were and everything are still there, like pretty clearly.
I think, you know, it's cool. You gotta. I would hope as much of it stays as possible.
No, I don't like it.
Get a tattoo.
No,
Why not?
because I don't want a tattoo.
Why not, dude? I want to get like either full or half sleeves. Definitely half sleeves.
I can't think of anything that I would possibly get.
I'm gonna get my first. I think my first tattoo is gonna be a cross like on the back of my neck. Because
Like
John
John
Bellion
Wick?
has one. No, John Bellion, the
John
cooler
Wick.
John.
Whoa, big statement.
Yeah,
How
well,
many
it's a
people
true
has
statement.
John Bellion killed? Because that's how cool you are.
Well, technically, Keanu Reeves has not killed anyone, so
But how many people has John Wick killed?
that's not a real person.
The first movie, it's only like 30.
That's kind of wild. Yeah, no, he's. But how many Grammys does John Wick have?
I don't know. After that nightclub sequence in the first movie, probably 40.
Doubt it. Anyways, what was this part of?
This was apartment news.
Oh, I know, but like why were we talking about that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well-
so yeah, that's the fighter guy. Come back in here. We'll listen to you say your beautiful words.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Wow, thanks, Fiverr guy.
Thanks, Jonathan. I love you.
Get the frick out of here.
I love you.
Here's $5.
I love you. He never says it back. It's really upsetting. Well, Ben, today, in fact, this morning at 1 a.m., we watched a movie.
Well, we finished watching a movie at 1 a.m.
When did we start?
Like a solid, maybe like a
Like 12?
11.
11?
You got back at like 10:30, and you took a shower. We watched some videos, maybe like you know, 11, 15ish, 11:30. So we got started solid 11:30.
Yeah. The point is we watched it.
That is the point.
And it is a movie, and this is what it is.
What happens if you have to go to the bathroom when you're recording a podcast?
Cut it out later.
All right, I might do that. Pause.
Okay, so here we are. We watched the movie. The movie is The Devil All the Time, starring Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, Sebastian Stan, Bill Skarsgård. It's either Skarsgård or Sarsgaard, and I can't remember.
Right.
He plays Pennywise.
I don't know.
But here we go. This is what it's about.
You can watch it on Netflix, by the way, if you are interested.
That's true. It's on the
It's
Netflix.
very good.
Yeah. So
Or is it? You'll find
we'll
out.
find out. Will we find out? That was me clearing my throat.
Proud of you.
Thank you. So, here we are. We are in a town called Occamstiff, and Willard Russell, played by Bill Skarsgård, takes his son to pray at a cross that he has fashioned. And boom, flashback, 12 years ago. Willard has come home from the war in the South Pacific. Carl Henderson and Sandy meet for the first time in a diner. Willard goes home, tells his parents he's in love with a waitress he talked to. His mother wants to set him up with a girl from church whose family died in a fire, but he's not about that. Roy, played by the guy who plays Dudley Dursley.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he glowed up. What can I say?
Well, I mean, he got thin.
He got thin, right?
I don't know that he long bottomed. That's
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He didn't
that's what I was
get
thinking
big,
of for a
fancy, and
second.
hot.
Yeah.
He got small. He's a little boy.
Yep. He's like me. We have the same body type.
Yeah. Apparently, in Order of the Phoenix, he was already getting to this like transition as he was like leaving the puberty stages.
Right.
That they had him wear a fat suit because
That's
he wasn't
great.
looking like Dudley anymore.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it makes me want to go back and watch that whole opening sequence where like they fight the Dementor in the cave and everything.
Right.
Cave, it's a tunnel. So that's all with that. But he's like a preacher, and he comes to the church and preaches this hellfire and brimstone thing and dumps the spiders on his face to prove that God took away his fears. Like, he's clearly crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
Yeah. It's very Paul Dano in There Will Be Blood, as a preacher goes. Willard goes back to the diner girl. Skip forward in time, and they're renting a house in Oakenstiff. Willard works tons of odd jobs to save to buy the house. Skip further
Do you
forward
know
in
what
time.
state Auchenford is in?
Auchenford?
Yeah.
Oakenstiff. I think they said at the very beginning, but I don't
remember where specifically it was set.
I'm going to say North Carolina.
That honestly, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Why not? It's probably Kansas with my luck. Skip further ahead, and we are back to the start of the movie. So we're now 12 years forward from the 12 years that we went back. Willard takes Arvin, his son, to the home of the guys that taunted them earlier when they were praying, and beats the heck out of them. And he tells Arvin to fight people back, but to pick the right time. Giving him this message of, eye for an eye, but like really intensely. They go home, and Mom has passed out, has cancer that can't be fixed. Willard takes Arvin to pray, and it's just like he's really adamant about it. Like he fully believes that, if they pray hard enough, that God will just do what they say, essentially.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's more him like telling than asking.
Yep.
And they just like keep going, and he's like slapping Arvin on the head because he's not praying hard enough and stuff like that. And they keep going all through nightfall. Willard goes off the deep end, kills the dog as a sort of sacrifice to save Mom.
Yeah, I think like because like I think what the reasoning behind it was like it was supposed to be somewhat of like a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Because did they not like that's what I got? They like alluded to it, or like he like read some sort of passage, or like the narrator said something. Do you remember that at all?
I guess. I mean, that's what I got out of it in general.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll expand on that later.
Okay. So yeah, Mom dies. Killing the dog doesn't work. And Mom dies. They have the funeral. Arvin goes to bring the dog a proper burial and finds that his dad has committed suicide at their little prayer spot after crucifying the dog, which is horrific to look at. Because the dog had like decomposed a bit too. It was really gross. It looked like something out of like a Blair Witch kind of thing. Like you'd stumble across some kind of like satanic altar or something. It was weird.
It was a bit weird. Yeah, a bit
nasty.
strange.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Officer Bodecker, played by Sebastian Stan, follows Arvin to the cross where Willard crucified the dog. And, well, we skip forward in time again. Actually, no, we go back in time. 7 years earlier. Dudley got bit by a spider and seems to Roy. I didn't remember his.
I love how that wasn't on purpose.
Well, this is the thing, is that I didn't realize his name for a while, so I have been writing Dudley.
Yep.
So he's Dudley in all my notes.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that. Dudley got bit by a spider in his little sermon and seems to have some revelation and leaves the dark room that he was sitting in. Dudley kills his wife, Helen, with a screwdriver in the woods, tries to resurrect her. It doesn't work because he killed her.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's how that usually works.
Yeah. So Dudley and his brother flee. Dudley's like, well, I mean, I can just explain that this happened and this is why. And his brother's like, dude, you killed your wife with a screwdriver and buried her in the forest. And everyone is just going to think that you're a crazy man.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I guess so. Whoops. So they run away. And then Carl and Sandy from earlier pick up Dudley on the side of the road, and he just leaves his brother behind, I guess.
Yep.
Sorry. Dudley wakes up after the car ride, and the car is stopped, and Carl is threatening Dudley with murder unless he lets him take pictures of him doing the deed with his wife.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it, and Carl kills him.
That is accurate.
Yeah. So that is the first time that they try to do this weird, like, sick thing. And it's, it doesn't go very well because they haven't figured out their method yet.
Yep.
And that's what the narrator says. And, we skip forward in time soon, but they have I think he says 14 victims at that point.
Yeah.
Arvin goes to live with his grandparents. Forward in time! Arvin is now Tom Holland, and it's his birthday. Grandpa... Actually, I think it's uncle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uncle gives him the Luger that Willard, his father, gave him when he came back from the war in the Pacific. Arvin and Lenora, his stepsister, I guess, technically, right? Is that what that is?
Call her, yeah.
Yeah, are very close, not in a weird way. They're just like very close, and he's very protective of her. Everyone is preparing for a new preacher to come to town because the other guy seems sick. He's going somewhere, I don't know, but he's leaving. That's the point. And the new guy, Preston, played by Robert Pattinson, or Robert Battenbat, has arrived, and he's a little weird. Like, something's off about him, like, pretty instantly. Preston peruses the buffet the town provided and delivers a sermon on why the chicken livers Arvin's grandmother made are trash, embarrassing her horribly, as she is like the cook in the town, apparently. Like, everyone loves her cooking. And Arvin beats the crap out of the guys that bullied Lenora like dear old dad. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I don't know why I wrote that down. Well, I guess it's just, he's all about the eye for an eye thing, just like his dad was.
Right.
So he goes and Lenora was getting bullied earlier, and he goes and beats these guys like really, really badly. And they never bully her again.
They deserved it, but yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm generally against violence in all forms. There's certainly a time, and I don't want to get into a big debate about when violence is necessary, but
I would have. Any self-respecting man would have done that. If you don't do that, I'd be more worried.
If you do that now.
No, you should still do that now.
Okay. Beat dudes within an inch of their life?
Yes, if they're talking to my sister like that, hell yeah, screw you, you're dead.
Okay, that's a crime.
Yeah, but it's the idea, and I think like what they're talking about in the movie is like it's family. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference when it's family versus just a random person.
Yeah, but they're not portraying it like it's a good thing.
It's not inherently a good thing, but it's something that like is in a weird way a responsibility of well, anyways, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then Arvin, I should mention, he doesn't really, seemingly believe in God or follow God, at least at this point in his life, just because of like all this stuff that happened when he was younger and his father and all of that, because none of that like seemed, all the prayer and everything didn't seem to do anything from his point of view. So he will drop Lenora off at church and stuff like that, but he never goes. So he drops her off one day, and Preston takes Lenora out to a secluded place and gets real rapey. In
fact, very rape. Yes.
Yeah, not in that exact scene, but it certainly happens.
Right.
So cut to Sandy. She's fed up with Carl. She's tired of this thing that they've been doing with all of their quote unquote models, and just wants to be done with it. Sandy looks through photos of their exploits, and Officer Bodecker shows up at the door. He's her big brother. Bodecker is in the pocket of some guy named Leroy who seems to be in some position of power, and he doesn't want all of this bad stuff to get out because he's in an election year to be the sheriff again. So Carl and Sandy pick up a new stranger. Sandy's clearly fed up with their road trips. They stop at a motel. I had to burp.
Classic.
Thank you. Back to Lenora and Preston. Lenora is pregnant. Pregnant. She's pregnant. Hey, I'm Lenora, and I'm pregnant. Oh, Preston says that it isn't his and tells her to get rid of it or everyone will be ashamed of her. Which is just, it's so like gross, and
babies are the worst.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. But it's just this thing in like this, and like I brought up There Will Be Blood earlier, of like there's this kind of trope of the, devil in sheep's clothing Southern preacher,
right,
that like isn't in it for the gospel or anything. It's just in it for the power aspect and everything.
Yep.
And it's just the slimiest thing to like, because it's something that people can be really susceptible to, and the people in the town obviously are super like just manipulated by this guy.
Right.
And just seeing how insanely hypocritical he is just like makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Makes me excited for Batman, because man, Robert Pattinson's like good in this.
He is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. Later, Lenora tries to hang herself, but she changes her mind and decides, well, you know what, he's wrong. People aren't going to be ashamed of me. I can do what this will be a blessing and I'll do it.
Right.
And then she trips and she accidentally hangs herself anyway.
Yeah, very sad, very unfortunate.
Yeah. So Arvin finds her dead and they have a funeral and an officer comes to Arvin and tells him that the coroner said that Lenora was pregnant. Pergarnet. Lenora was pregnant? That's what he says.
Yep.
Arvin doesn't believe it, at first, but then he does. Preston has found a new girl, and then I guess another one at home. Oh, I guess because he's got a wife at home, I guess, is apparently what that is.
Right.
But Arvin decides to go on the war path because he figured out that, Preston did this.
Yep.
So he goes to the church to kill Preston, and Arvin tells him this story about like this, this lustful sin that he's been committing and stuff. And it's him telling him exactly what Preston has been doing. And he kind of realizes this over time.
Right.
And it's, great to see this like horrible man just
Top
like
10 instant karma moments.
Yeah, I mean,
Number
really.
5.
He's like scared out of his mind, and it's just this again. It's just showcasing Robert Pattinson. My gosh, just like that swap from this very cool, collected, like I'm in charge to
right.
Why don't you just put the gun down, boy? Like, oh man, it's good.
Right.
And Arvin kills him.
Kablam.
There's I can't remember what it is. But there's I remember. I don't remember. I think it's Samuel in the Bible. I don't remember what book or reference it is necessarily, but when like the David and Bathsheba thing, when David sleeps with one of his soldiers' wives, and then he tries to like send the guy off to get killed in the war and everything. Yep. Like he does this horrible stuff. Samuel comes to him knowing all this and tells him a story of like, oh well, this guy did this thing, and it's all the stuff that David did. And David's like, well, that guy should be like executed and gotten rid of or whatever.
Right.
And I thought that was the direction they were going with this, but then he realized it ahead of time. But I don't know. I don't know if that was intentionally supposed to be that way, since he's a preacher and everything.
Right.
But that was what came to mind when I was watching that specific part. So yeah, Bodecker goes to kill Leroy and his man. And he does. That kind of... We'll come back to that, but that plot line doesn't really seem to be connected to anything or have anything to do with anything, which is kind of whatever. Carl and Sandy pick up Arvin, who is now hitchhiking, trying to get out of town. They stop, and they're going to try to do their whole crime thing with Arvin, but Arvin sees Carl's gun, shoots Carl. Sandy and Arvin stand off, but Carl had emptied her gun, so she gets a shot off, but it was just a blank.
Oof.
Yeah. Arvin is the only one left alive in this situation. He takes film reels to presumably prove his innocence. Bodecker is called to the scene. Bodecker goes back to their apartment and looks for anything that could hurt his chances of his end of the election. He finds and burns the photos and the negatives. Arvin goes back home. Jeez, I'm burping a lot. The filling station man... Too many potatoes, dude. Filling station man tells him it was the sheriff's sister and husband that were killed. Some people were born just so they could be buried. Oh, I thought that was a cool line. That's what I have to say about that. I might cut that tiny bit out because that didn't have anything to do with anything.
No, it's good. I love you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I still think you're pretty hot.
Bodecker figures out it was Arvin that did the killings. Arvin goes back to the cross where his dad killed himself and buries the dog's bones.
No.
Okay. Did you have something?
Just keep going.
Okay. Bodecker heads to the cross to find Arvin, but he hears him. What? But he hears him and hides. Oh, yeah. So Arvin hears Bodecker.
Right, yep.
And hides. There's a shootout, and Arvin shoots first. Bodecker goes down. Arvin buries the gun with the dog's bones at the grave, leaving his past behind for good.
And the Luger.
That's the gun.
The Luger.
Hardly know her.
Luger.
But that is the devil all the time.
Does he go to a life of crime, or does he make a new beginning? Also, another thing, you could just like move and have a whole new life back in those days. I love that.
Yeah. Well, you would hope so. You would think so. I mean, people, could get tracked down in the it is the 1960s
Right.
at that point.
But
if it was
still
earlier,
different
if it was like the Willard times with the Korean War and stuff like that, then I think it would be a lot easier. But yeah, I think you're right. Certainly it would be a lot easier to try to disappear.
Today.
Yeah, where we all have a
80 years ago.
GPS in our body that we don't know about. And
Yeah, and we can't not be with our phones.
yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I always, did you ever figure, like, when you were a kid, ponder how if you were going to run away, you would do it?
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
Because the first thing that I thought was like, all right, you know what? I got to get rid of the iPod. I got to go off the grid. They can't be tracking me. That's a rookie
iPod.
mistake. If I take any electronics with me, I can't even get on. I have to go to a library to use the computers. That I had it all planned out. I had a whole go bag. I knew exactly, I was going to make some money,
Oh, yeah.
live in a box.
Wow. I would do that. Live in a box. Just
Yeah.
for fun. So what did you think of The Devil All the Time?
It was interesting. It had a lot of ins, a lot of outs.
Yeah.
There was it was kind of confusing as far as, especially at the beginning, what the main plot line was.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know if it was on purpose. Here's the thing. If it's a movie about the murders or anything like something like that, I think it's a very interesting way or a genius framing device.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I didn't quite walk away with like this is why, or this is what the movie was saying, or this is what the point was. It was just kind of like, okay, well, the story's over now. Like,
I would agree with that.
so many things happened that you just get a bit overwhelmed. And I it's not like they're executed poorly or anything like that. I think it's just a victim of there are so many different things that happen,
Characters, storylines.
right? And you have to keep track of them, and then people are dying. There's a lot of another thing that I thought was interesting was this is all preference and this is just personal opinion.
Yeah.
But when you kill somebody early in the movie, it takes away a lot of the weight from death in the I guess, I don't know, universe, world, whatever you want to talk about,
Sure.
whatever term, the all-encompassing term. So at some point, when they're killing people, it just doesn't mean as much, or it doesn't have the same impact, because it seems to be happening all the time. And
I think that part of that is that Arvin is kind of numb to it,
right,
in the first place because of all that.
So in a way, I guess if that's the feeling that they're trying to get across of you're numb to the death and stuff like that, then yes, that's what I got from it. But
yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like it was trying to do. It seemed like it was trying to do a lot.
Maybe too much.
An hour and a half, right? Yeah, and it's not bad.
Well, it was
I
think it was 2 hours 20 minutes.
2 hours and 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like it was bad. It just felt like it was a lot packed in there, and if they would have maybe focused on some different aspects, or a few, focused in on a few different ones and not how much they really went into. Yeah, I don't know. And it was strange. Yeah,
I think I agree. I think that there were maybe too many different storylines happening that like Officer Bodecker, I think they put too much time into his story. We didn't need to flesh out his stuff at all, really. Right. I don't think. Yeah, it was either that, or they needed to give him more to flesh out, or it was almost like it wasn't enough, but it also was too much, if that makes sense. It was in that middle area. It almost seemed like they cut out stuff that they shot for him, right? Because he comes in at the beginning, and then he comes in in the middle, and they shoot back to the part where Arvin was a kid again, and then he says that line: "Some people are just born to be buried." And which is interesting, and I have thoughts about that. But what are your thoughts about that? In a sense, I agree. Okay, explain your sense. Only, so I don't know. It's it gets philosophical and heady. That's why we got a podcast, I guess. Yeah, this is gonna be meandering and interesting, I guess. But some people are born to be buried, because so what does that mean to you? You know what I mean? When you hear that quote, what is kind of running through your mind? I think for him it's a much more pessimistic, there's no point to anything. Sometimes it's just the way things goes. Right. But the way that I interpret that, the way that I see that, and the way that I would kind of see that as kind of true, is that, God has a purpose for everybody. Right. And whether, you're Martin Luther King Jr. and you're doing this huge work for all of humanity, and you're, like just leading the civil rights movement and that kind of thing, or if you're just some guy and you just whatever you do that day, like just talking to someone, being nice to this person at this one specific moment in your life, maybe that was the purpose. Maybe that's the reason that you've been here this entire time, is to like impact this one person, whatever. Like, not everybody has this huge, insane, massive, world-changing thing that they're going to do. And that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Right.
Everyone wants to be a huge part of the process, but sometimes the cogs in the machine are still very important pieces of the machine that if you take them out, everything's going to fall apart.
Right.
So this idea of like some people are just born to be buried, in that sense, that is kind of true from my perspective, that like some people like can go through their whole life and it's not like they're leading a meaningless life or anything. It's not like, maybe that's me, when I'm doing all these things that I do in my life and then I die. Maybe my death is something that I was put on this earth to be, like, that's going to impact people and move them to where they need to be or something.
Right.
Which, has nothing to do with the movie necessarily.
Right.
But like, does that make sense?
So you want to get shot?
Hopefully like in my side near the appendix.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And I want to die in the woods.
Oh yeah. I was thinking of Fargo first, or not. Yeah, not Fargo.
Fargo.
Waco.
Have you seen Fargo?
I have seen the original movie Fargo.
Yeah, not the TV show.
The TV show.
I really want to watch the TV show because I know it's supposed to be really, really good. And it's got Martin
David
Freeman,
was talking
Ewan
about that
McGregor.
recently.
Oh, I'm sure that Dave loves that show.
Ewan McGregor. Okay.
Yeah, he's in one of them, I think.
Cool.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'll take a look. Yeah, I have seen Fargo though. It's pretty good. I like that movie a lot.
It's good. I wasn't as in love with it as I thought I would be, but I enjoyed it. It was good.
I didn't have like much of a context going into it, so I just kind of watched it for what it was, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, it was good. I thought it was. Yeah.
But back to the movie at hand. I think
yes,
I would compare this movie to a movie called Magnolia.
Okay.
Which, have you heard of this?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
So this is another movie. I can't remember who directed it. It's go to IMDb for me, boy. Somebody notable directed it, and I can't remember who it is.
Which one is it?
Magnolia. It's got Tom Cruise, John C. Reilly, I think Julianne Moore, Christopher Plummer, maybe? Like tons and tons of people are in this movie, and it's got all these like diverging
Tom
stories.
Cruise.
And
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, he's
Julianne
so good.
Moore, Jason Roberts, Philip Baker Hall, John C. Reilly,
Yeah.
William H. Macy.
I forgot William H. Macy's in that movie. But yeah, it's got all these like divergent stories and stuff like this movie does, and all
Right.
these different characters that you pop in to their lives at different times, and they're all kind of related in different ways, and they all merge in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's very, oh look at that. Hey. We just put the old graphics card in my computer so I can, edit this show later. And it's been just kind of spinning its wheels for a long time.
Exactly
and
59 minutes and 52 seconds.
And it
or
just
somewhere around
started
there.
restarting. So I can't wait to reinstall some new graphics drivers so it understands what it is now. It probably would have been smarter to just boot it up with the motherboard graphics, the integrated graphics.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
And then I could also play games, but it's all good. I'm playing Rocket League anyways. The good old 1050 Ti can
Yeah.
run some Rocket League.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Magnolia, I feel like is maybe more cohesive version of this. I feel like this has still more of a through line to the story,
Right.
where we're like very clearly the main character is Arvin and his bloodline, and
Yeah.
that's what we're following. These other characters, we're hearing their stories, but only so they can inform Arvin's.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like there were just a lot of parallels to Magnolia, but there were certain things that happen in this movie that just kind of are like, and there's a few different movies like this, but it's this kind of thing where, it just happens miraculously and these people happen to come together in this way.
Right.
And whatever. And Magnolia kind of leans into the more like weirdly supernatural, spiritual aspect of it.
Right.
Which is weird. Like there's a big thing that happens at the end of that movie that's just not explained, if I remember right.
Right.
And it's super bizarre. And I don't know exactly what I was supposed to think coming out of it.
Right.
Which is what I would say about this as well. Like, what...
Yeah, it just didn't seem
was
like
I
there
supposed
was like
to...
a
What was the
right hook
message?
ending, button it up nicely. It just wasn't there.
Yeah. And I
that's
feel like...
what was weird about it. It had an update that it was supposed to do.
Oh, that's rough. But this is what I think is because it's based on a book. And I think that this story and this structure makes a lot more sense in a novel, where like you can go across a really long period of time and focus on a ton of disparate characters across various different chapters of a book.
You know, I think you're absolutely right. And the other thing with a book that, you know, a movie will never really be able to capture is the internal dialogue and that kind of thing. You know, you can infer a lot of that stuff, and you kind of have to let the audience figure it out itself. But in a book, you can literally just tell the audience what they're thinking at any given time, and in a different way. Because in a book, you kind of feel like you're, you know, more like you're in a movie, you're an outside viewer. You're your own person watching what's happening in the scene. Whereas in a book, you feel like you're more in the scene,
kind of placing yourself there,
right? And you can be, you know, in the characters, you know, through the character's view, through, you know, just there as yourself. Like, it gives you a lot more flexibility. And it's kind of the same thing that happened, you know, I mean, I read all the Harry Potter books, and you look at the Harry Potter movies, and then to cut so much out, and there's so many things that, like, you watch the movie and you're like, oh, well, I mean, it's cool to see this stuff visualized, but if I hadn't read the books, I know I'd be missing out on so much. So I feel like that is probably what this movie is a victim of like, you know, it's a really good story. It's just a hard story to translate to film and in a 2-hour time span. You know what I mean?
I'd be super curious to read the book.
Yeah.
I still need to finish The Maltese Falcon. I was starting to pick that up again recently. And it's really good.
Right.
And it's not that long either. I could push through it probably like in a day or two.
Right.
But I just, you know, I'm lazy. I'd be really, really curious to read the book, though, because I think there's a really good story in there.
Right.
It just didn't fully come through. All of the performances in the movie are fantastic.
Right.
Like, everyone that's in this
great.
is great in this.
Yep.
Like, Sebastian Stan did everything he could with that character. Like, there was so little to grab a hold of with Officer Bodecker.
Right.
But he did it. And it was kind of a one-dimensional dude, but he did it really well. This guy who's just like, he's doing whatever he thinks he has to because that's just what he has to do.
Yep.
But also he's just kind of on like autopilot, it seems. Like, he doesn't have his own, you know, like, well, this is what I'm going to do because this is my plan and this is why.
He's gotten into a place in his life where he's stuck and he's accepted his fate. He does not challenge that.
Bill Skarsgård as Willard is really, really good.
Yep.
Like, I mean, and I could say that about everybody in this movie. Tom Holland, I love seeing Tom Holland in stuff that isn't Spider-Man because it really showcases that he is a great actor.
Right.
He's in a movie called The Lost City of Z that Robert Pattinson is also in, actually.
Interesting.
And that one is actually loosely based on a true story. And it's long.
Yeah.
But it's good. And I've never seen, I think Charlie Hunnam is the main guy in that. I've never really liked him in anything, but he's really good in that movie.
Interesting.
But it's the same thing for Robert Pattinson. Like, everybody, he gets announced as Batman. Everyone's like, "What, the sparkly vampire guy from Twilight? He's going to be Batman? That's dumb." And I'm on the sidelines like, he's been doing tons of amazing indie movies, and he's actually been really, really good and been doing incredible work since then. And now we finally get to see that with people now going, well, not a ton of people are going to see Tenet, unfortunately.
Right.
But do you want to see Tenet, by the way? Because no one's going to the theaters. $5 Tuesdays are still a thing. And Tuesdays are my day off.
Maybe. I might be down. We'll see
it's
how it
honestly
goes.
Probably the most socially distant activity that you could do at this point.
Right.
So I'm 100%. I want to see it. And at this point, I'd spend $5 to go to the Grand or something.
Right.
Or probably just East Park because, you know, that's easier.
Big purchases.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. But... And this Tenet and this, and then he was also in a Netflix movie called The King about, I think, Henry V,
right,
starring Timothée Chalamet.
There you go.
But yeah, I just really, really enjoyed all the performances, even if the story didn't totally keep up with that necessarily.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought the music was great. I loved the score.
It didn't stand out to me, so I don't know. I can't say one way or the other.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was at times very, very pretty.
Right.
the
It felt
movie
very
itself
quiet.
visually.
Yeah. Visually, it was definitely shot well.
Yeah. There were a few different shots that I was like, that's very plain and kind of a weird choice.
Right.
But then like most of it, I think had a very, very cool like vision and look behind it.
Right.
That I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were a lot of they use a lot of cool little tricks in that movie, like. You know, even like one scene that I was thinking about is the first time you see the preacher, the camera is right
Dudley?
next to the right next to the preacher, as opposed to like in the audience or anything like that, which gives you kind of like a weird, you know, you feel weirdly close, and like you can see like all the weird little mannerisms of his face, and then he's poured some spiders on his face, and it's weird and it's crazy. But yeah, no, it was shot pretty decently. I would say it's a solid 7 out of 10.
I would give it like a 7.2. Just because like an 8 feels excessive.
Yeah.
But a 7 to me feels a little bit too low somehow.
Okay. All right. That's acceptable.
Yeah. I don't know. Because like 7 to me is like good. And 8 is like, that was amazing.
Right. Speaking of ratings, unless you have much else to say, what was your, what I don't know, what was the rating?
Well, that's my question. What are you doing? I have to say that.
Well, okay, all right.
What
fine.
a strange...
Go ahead and
what
say
a strange... You've turned the genre on its head!
it. Look, I'm a genre bender. What can I say?
Oh my gosh. I'm an airbender.
Nice.
Earth, fire, air.
Water.
That movie is on Netflix now.
Nice.
And I feel like I have to watch it,
Well, then watch
unfortunately. I guess I will. You haven't watched Avatar, have you? The show?
No.
And you're not going to, because
Probably not.
I know you.
Yeah.
It's very good, but it's fine. So Ben, the devil all the time. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would suggest it. I would tell somebody to watch it.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So you know what that means?
I do not know what that means. Oh wait, is it time for the show part where it's the I to the M to the B trivia?
Yeah, I couldn't think of a
In
joke.
the trivia.
Oh, you know what I just remembered? I found my DS in my car yesterday. I forgot that it was in there. I opened up my center console. I was like, oh, my new Nintendo 3DS.
Nice.
It's not new. That's just the literal name. As opposed to the previous Nintendo 3DS.
The old 3DS.
It has like slight improvements over
Right.
the previous version of it.
Right.
Actually, it's the new Nintendo 3DS XL. I went all in. Oh my gosh. True fan.
Wow.
And I was like, I kind of want to finish all these Pokemon games that I have, actually, so I should probably do that. And I remembered that I lost the charger, so I ordered a charger, and it should be arriving at some point today. So that's my story.
Good story.
Thank you. But now it's time for Im de Trib.
Yep.
If I can find my notes. Okay, so here we go. The screenplay was adapted from the 2011 novel The Devil All the Time from author Donald Ray Pollock, who also voiced the narration in the film. It was the first time he's done any narrating, not even doing the voice work for his own audiobooks. I thought the narration was really good.
Yeah.
His voice, at least, was fantastic.
I didn't know why it was there, but it was good.
I assumed that it was the actual prose from the novel,
Right.
which made me that itself made me want to read the book, because it was like really interesting and well worded and just kind of cool. I can't remember if Magnolia has narration as well, but part of me feels like it does for some reason.
Right.
I don't know. It's not a framing device that gets used very often anymore, and I don't think that's a good or bad thing, but I think it when it's done well, it makes sense, but usually it's just a crutch.
Right.
And I
That
feel like
makes
this
sense.
is kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Author's got a great voice, though. I thought he was awesome.
Yep.
Let's see. Chris Evans was originally cast as Sheriff Lee Bodecker, but had to drop out of the film due to scheduling conflicts. His Marvel co-star, Sebastian Stan, took over the role. So we almost got Captain America.
Yeah,
And then
I
we
like
got the Winter
Sebastian
Soldier. Yeah, it would be weird seeing Chris Evans try to do that role.
Yeah, it just wouldn't make sense, I don't think.
Because, like, I don't think he's been typecast at all. Because, like, have you seen Knives Out?
No, I have not.
He, in Knives Out, is, like, an awful person.
Right.
Like, he's terrible. But it works, and he does it very well. So I think, I don't think he's been typecast as, perfect Captain America with his perfect teeth, as Tony Stark says.
Right.
But I think this is maybe a little further out of his wheelhouse than Knives Out was.
Right.
Shot on 35 millimeter film, which is rare for Netflix to greenlight. That's what that fact is. Bless you. Apparently, real spiders were used in the scene where...
I gotta pause.
You gotta take a dump now?
We are live again.
We are live. Welcome back to 97.2845 The Kick.
Brought to you by Jensen Automotive. Wait, that's a real company. Whoops.
So here's the next fact. Apparently, real spiders were used when Dudley dropped spiders on his head.
Nice.
Which is confusing to me because when I saw that, I thought that is some dodgy CGI.
Oh, really? No, I didn't think that at all. I could tell it was real.
Interesting. There was the way that some of them fell off his face looked really floaty to me.
Right.
But I guess that's just how spiders fall.
That's how if you wondered what spiders falling off people's face looked like, that's it.
That's just the way the spider falls.
The spider crumble.
That's oh no. That's just the way the spider crumbles.
Marshall's a lot more afraid of spiders than I am. I have to come and kill spiders for him.
Them. See, this is the thing. When I'm like at home in my private life or whatever, and I don't have some kind of responsibility to someone else, I don't like bugs freak me out and stuff like that. But like if I'm at work or something or at camp, I am like steel. Like I can't because like I know that if I freak out about the wasp, the kids are going to explode. So right. I'm like nothing. And I don't know why I can't just turn that on in like regular life.
Right.
It's the same thing like with like there's bats at the church.
Right.
Because it's this big church and they're like they live in the fire stairwells and sometimes they get out of the fire stairwells and they're just around.
Maybe it's because spiders aren't actually that scary.
Well, beside the point. People are scared about different things, and I don't care. It's fine.
But spiders aren't that scary.
Like the thing with the bats, when I was like 9, maybe, we went to Henry Dorley Zoo with my family,
right,
and went into that like safari zone where like everything is just open air. And, it's fine. There's like things flying around. It's cool.
Did a bat poop on you?
Not quite. But we went into one of the little like cave sections that are kind of closed in and you almost have to go like maybe 2 people abreast can fit.
Right.
And that's a weird term.
Abreast. Yes.
And we're going through there and a bat comes in and like dive bombs me multiple times and it scared the heck out of me. And I just like wanted to get out of there. And I like the last time that I went there was with camp because that's the only reason I ever have to go to Henry Dorley at this point. And I like had to muster myself up to go in there just because like I hadn't gone into the safari zone where I'd been like assaulted by this flying rodent since that time. So I was kind of like traumatized by this thing and it like freaked me out. And like I did it and I went through and it was fine and I was like real sketched out by the bats. But then like that's what I'm talking about, how like it freaked me out then. But now last night the Celebrate Recovery groups meet on Friday. Mm-hmm. And in D300 I got a call. I was going to go up there anyway because they have audio problems all the time.
Right.
This week I was on my way up and I get a call on my way and I was like, okay, well, I guess I was right to go and check. I guess I got to fix the sound again. And they tell me, well, the sound's fine. There's a bat flying around.
Nice.
It's like, ooh. And it's a weird place for the bats to be. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how one got in there.
Probably through the door.
But it doesn't make sense because usually like they live in the C-Wing fire stairwells.
Right.
And that is the opposite side of the building. So I don't know if it flew like out of the stairwell somehow, which I don't know how it gets out of there anyway, but out of the stairwell into the lobby area, through up the stairs to 300, like it like walking there intentionally as it like if you put a human being
right
in the building and just told them where to go, that place is enough of a maze they would have trouble. I don't know how this bat figured it out.
Right.
But I had to figure that out and I had to get it out of there and we did it.
Nice.
But I like had to do that thing where I like just turn on like the steel like face and I'm just like grit my teeth and go for it. And I don't know what the difference is. I think it's just that like I have a responsibility to this and this is my job. And
no, I think
I don't know.
Here's what it is an example of. It's an example of basically everything in your mental is controlled by your own thoughts of it. And if you think it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. And if you think it's not going to be bad, it won't be bad. It's like literally that's 100% mindset.
I guess, yeah.
That is the most perfect example.
Interesting. Well, I would not want to dump spiders on my face.
Neither would I, but I do still want a tarantula.
Yeah. It was
I can't
gross
get a
how
cat.
like they all like there was the ones on his left
Ooh, I can get a
that
cat.
like all like bundled together. There was like a
Oh,
group
yeah.
of spiders that were like ugh. It was no
Anyways.
thanks. And then it's a plot point later that he got bit by spiders and it was
Right.
like, but God didn't protect me from the spiders, and that's why he kills his wife or something. I don't know. Here's my last fact. Robert Pattinson didn't work with a dialect coach and crafted his high-pitched Southern drawl on his own.
Nice.
Which is very Robert Pattinson.
Yep.
The actor hid his accent from everyone, including director Antonio Campos, until day one of filming. Other actors sent Campos recordings of the voices they were working on, but not Pattinson, preferring to rehearse by himself and getting self-conscious by being judged before actually standing in front of the camera.
Nice.
So, like, apparently, like, and I had read about this, apparently all of his co-stars were, like, freaked out at first by this, like, weird high-pitched
Right.
voice that he was doing.
Right.
Because he doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm vengeance. Like, that's his regular
Right, right.
voice to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But then in this, it's like, delusions. Delusions. Lenora, I'm not the father. Morris said so. Like, it's
Right.
it's very different, but it's very good. And it really fits the character.
Right.
So that's what that is, Ben. It's time for our next segment.
Yeah.
I got no delusions about what it is. You are the father. Do you have any funny things to say?
I think it's funnier if I don't say anything.
Oh, no! It's time for Ben. What you been looking at? What
Yeah.
you listening to?
So I binge watched the Waco series. Pretty damn
That
good.
show's wacko.
Yeah, no, it's Bappo, pretty wacko. It is pretty wacko.
Yeah.
The government was wacko. I did know a lot more about Waco before I watched it, but it was interesting to see it dramatized. It's not the complete 100% accurate version of what happened, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
It's weird when the aliens show up.
Right? Yeah, it is strange. It's kind of like that one movie.
Oh yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I watched Good Will Hunting because we were gonna talk about it and then we didn't.
And we'll do next episode, I think, is what the plan is now.
Cool. There you go. So now you know.
Next episode, Good Will Hunting.
Now I know. Yes. Finding some good thrifts to get my thrift haul. What about yourself, Marshall? What have you been watching, listening to, consuming, and excreting?
Oh, excreting.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Nice.
But I watched The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Wow, it's
It's a great title, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good. It's another movie that has narration.
Nice.
Which occurred to me earlier when we were talking about that.
Right.
But that's just because it is like based on a true story of, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Oh.
So they're like filling in these gaps, kind of.
Right.
I think why in my head do I think that the voice is Paul Giamatti? Because it's definitely not. Why in my head was I about to say the narration is done by Paul Giamatti?
I do not know.
What if it is?
I mean,
I'm very.
that'd
He's
be
not
amazing.
in the movie.
Right.
I don't know, but it's very good. It's got Brad Pitt as Jesse James and Casey Affleck as
Nice.
Robert Ford, who you watched in Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah, I also watched. Ben Affleck is in the movie.
Justice League,
No.
The Way Back.
He plays basketball.
The Way Back.
Or no, he doesn't play basketball.
The Way Back.
What? Oh, The Way Back. Yes.
Yeah, isn't that what it's called?
Yes. I
heard that was
thinking of
good.
The Wayback Machine.
Yeah, from Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah.
I know that same thing. I think of that every time I see that title.
Yeah.
I heard that was good. Was it all right?
It was. It was like a solid maybe 4 out of 10.
It's a Netflix movie, isn't it?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
It just it was a movie. It happened. I didn't love it.
I mean, that's kind of Ben Affleck in general. Like,
It
he's
felt like
really good when he's really good.
Yeah, it felt like it was trying to be some crazy, emotional, like
Coach Carter.
good movie, and then it just didn't have any substance to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, cool.
Oh, man.
All they do is drink beer and yell.
Wow. What a deadbeat. But then he learns to work as a team. I
Yep.
haven't seen it. What else have I been watching? I've been watching a show called Raised by Wolves on HBO, which is a weird sci-fi show.
Classic.
About it's this distant future, and there's a war between the religious and atheists.
Interesting.
And it's not Christianity, but it's like this, space religion or whatever. They worship Soul. Wow, it's very, it's just this made up thing.
Right.
And it's this horrible war, and the planet gets pretty much destroyed, and androids are a thing in this society. And
instead of iPhones?
Yeah. But they both factions, atheists and the religious, send like what they call an arc.
Nice.
Haha, get it? To Kepler 22b, this planetoid off in the distance, and hardly know her. And the atheists get there first because they send 2 androids with a bunch of frozen embryos. So these 2 androids, mother and father, have to raise these children,
right,
on like 7 children, I think, on this planet, and they get there like, however many years before the religious people do, because they have to have life support and everything, so their ship is a lot slower.
Right.
So they are raising all these kids, and they just die off one by one until it's just this one kid left that's named after their creator, Campion.
Nice.
And then the religious people show up, and that's when the show kind of like kickstarts.
Interesting. And
it's very weird. It's very like pure science fiction, weird stuff.
Right.
But I'm in, I'm going to finish it. I don't think it's incredible, but it's definitely like, something to watch in the media drought that we kind of have right now with the coronavirus having put a lot of things on hold.
Classic.
I've been watching a show called Lovecraft Country on HBO, which I don't think I've talked about yet on the show.
Yeah.
But I think it's based on a book. I can't remember. But it's about kind of like exploring race issues through like the framing device of Lovecraftian horror, which it really goes into in the first episode, to the point where I was like, monsters hadn't shown up or anything, and I was afraid that it was going to be racism is the real Lovecraftian monster, not Cthulhu. And I was like, but I want to yes, racism is the real monster in real life.
Right.
But this is the fictional show called Lovecraft Country, and I want to see, these unknowable beasts and monsters, and how do you portray that on screen and stuff like that. And because I love that like really like gross, dark, dire Lovecraftian horror style. So I was gonna be real disappointed if it didn't go that way.
Yep.
And then it did at the end of the episode. But it's like the first episode is fantastic. The second one is weird because it kind of just takes you through what you would have thought the entire season of the show would have been about in one episode, and then it's over and you're like, well, now what do they I don't know what that was a mess.
Right.
But then after that, it's like a pulp horror magazine, essentially. Like every episode is its own story, but they're all like connected by this overarching plot that we don't care about.
Yep.
It's good. I want to like it more than I do.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. I don't know.
Sad
I watched
day.
that. And then I think also maybe just this one last thing, but I watched HBO Max has this Leaving Soon category.
Right.
And I try to watch everything out of there that I care about every month. So I watched Prometheus, with a secret prequel to Alien.
Nice.
And which was fine. Just kind of tried too many things.
Yeah.
And Interviews with the Vampire. The Interview with the Vampire.
Interesting.
Starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Also based on a book. Very interesting movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could do a whole episode on that.
Wow.
I don't think I want to though.
Yeah. Well, then we won't.
Yeah, I think that's what I've been getting back into Ghost of Tsushima now that I have both hands again.
Nice.
And it's really fun. Like
Love
it's
it.
very video gamey. I feel like it feels like it was kind of rushed.
Right.
Like if they put more time into it, it could have been like closer to a Witcher 3 level thing of like well thought out.
Right.
Like the open world just kind of feels like a thing that you go through, as opposed to The Witcher where it's like there's things happening everywhere. But I don't know. It's kind of unfair to compare a open world game to The Witcher 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, what's going to be as good as the ultimate example. But yeah, I think that's all I got.
Well, then that might be the end of the show.
That might be the show. Well, Ben, this has been our show. It's been pretty good. If you want to contact the show, you can find me at mparish_art on Instagram and the Twitter. I don't really use Twitter very much, but sometimes I do. And I certainly check it. I don't really tweet. The Great Scubdo on Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully going to start streaming again at some point here. I mean, probably not until I get... the new graphics card, at least for gaming stuff. I might do drawing things at some point here. I'm sure that I could just do that pretty easily. But that's the Twitch and YouTube is the Great Scubdo. Ben and Marshall do a podcast on Instagram, benandmarshallpod@gmail.com. Feel free if you have any questions, anything to say. What do you think of The Devil All the Time? Tell us about it. We'll tell you about it. You know what's fun? On iTunes, we have like 2 5-star reviews, but there's no content. Yeah, it makes me sad.
Well, leave a little 5-star review with
we'll read it on the show.
Comments. We will talk about it.
Yeah.
Next time when you do it.
That's right. Those are my socials. Ben, do you have anything to plug? New music videos you're doing?
Oh, I guess I did do a music video. You can check out it's called The Ballad of the Moon and the Earth by my good boy Noah Flourish. Did a little music video. It's pretty good. Take a look. Let me know what you think.
The BTS stuff looked really cool.
Oh yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can always follow me at Ben with. Well, it's kind of weird. It's at Ben with the Lens on Instagram if you want, or don't.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Don't do it.
Yep.
Just kidding. You can. It's okay. Well, I think that's been our show. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back in a couple weeks with Good Will Hunting, which, fun fact, I thought was about a guy that is named Will who is good and he's hunting. I thought that for a long time.
Not at all what it is.
Yeah, it's really not. I knew nothing about it except for the title. So I was like, what? It's a weird name. But yeah, that's been our show. I've been Marshall.
I've been.
The show is over. It is done. I have had a little bit of fun.
Yeah. My name is...
No, it's over.
Okay.